How you doing, Cancer? It's Wes here. I'm going to do our tarot reading. Alright, so I did have some incense going, but unfortunately I have to put it out because this is a closed quarters room, obviously, and we've got mowing outside. And there's a billion other things, and if that smoke alarm goes off, it's, holy God, it's loud. It is seriously loud. So I was like, what are the odds I'm going to do this video and it'll go off? Alright, so let's just not chance it. So I put the incense out, unfortunately, but we got candles going. Alright, we've got decks, lots of them, and I've shuffled them. Alright, as I said, for the Gemini reading, we're using a lot of people are kind of like, well, where's the direction of the channel going? We're not going to be. I'm more do like relationship stuff for tarot readings, and I'm going to keep doing that. But the all sign readings are going to come back. We're going to be doing those again. But this is just kind of something I don't know, Spirit wanted, so I'm just kind of going with it. But it's kind of like the start of the new year. Spirit, please shut the dog up, please. That's all I ask. If the dog will shut up, please. Hopefully Spirit will come through with that eventually here. But we're essentially, it's just trying to look at the new year, because we've got 12 months ahead of us, right? And there's a lot of different things that you can do with your life, right? It's not always drama, and I have fun doing it sometimes when I do the all sign readings. I mean, a lot of people don't know this. I look pretty young for my age, but at least that's what people tell me. But I'm approaching 40, so for the most part, I am kind of just a down to earth person, or these days. So it does confuse people because I'm kind of wild in videos sometimes. But there is kind of like an element where I do try to just to provide some entertainment for you guys. But for this kind of topic, I'm more like Spirit wants more like a serious tone, so that's why we're doing that, right? So I'm going to follow using AI since I have it available to me. It costs money to run this program. I have a script with it. I've already kind of said this in the Gemini reading, but it does cost money. It's not cheap. Alright, so we're going to just take advantage of it, use it, because it does kind of think outside the box. Sometimes it comes with some, I don't know, interesting stuff. And it seemed to kind of predict some things in the Gemini reading, which was quite alarming to me, but it did. It predicted it was going to happen, and it did. So I was like, all right, let's not pay total faith in it, but we'll go with it, right? God, give me the strength to not strangle that dog. It just can't help itself. Maybe that's something that we need to explore in this reading. A Cancer that just can't help themselves. Let me go and civilly and respectfully deal with this. It's almost like you're reading my mind, and you're like, well, I better shut that dog up. I feel like I'm getting anxiety. It's alright, we're going to do this reading. One way or another. Some Cancers may have a lot of distractions in their life that could cause a lot of things to be up in the air. I don't know. Alright, but let's get right to it. Alright, so how this is going to work, we're going to go through some categories here. This is going to be a general reading. It's not a relationship reading. Alright, it might be some relationship stuff in here, but if you want to go and find a relationship reading, there's plenty of them on YouTube right now. We'll be back to doing that content soon, but just not right now. Alright, this is just about hopefully you and stuff that applies to you, Cancer. Alright, so I have a format here. We're going to follow that, and hopefully it gets, I don't know, some results. We'll get some guidance here, right? We're going to obviously use the tarot. Figure out where that goes. So in the first category the AI came up with here, I've already highlighted it down below, is I need to go and deal with that dog. I'll deal with that. This is like an unruly Cancer. I love you, Abby, but shut up. Alright, let's hope that fixes the problem here. Yeah. I had to give the dog some therapy session. Essentially, I talked some sense into it. At least helped it make sense of reality with the lawnmower. King of Swords, I guess I laid the law down there. Alright. Alright, I don't know if that had some significance for some Cancers. Maybe some of you need to have, I don't know, some boundaries in your life, alright? Maybe you need someone to lay the law down for you, because shit, I know I would. I'm that type of person. I can do that. Maybe we just need to do this reading a different time. This is like a Cancer that just basically can't say no, that wants to keep going. And this Cancer right here is the problem. I found the problem. It's right here. Quiero Taco Bell! Quiero Taco Bell! You don't look too thrilled right now. That's probably because you know I'm really pissed at you right now, so... Shut up. I love you, but shut up. It's a lawnmower. It's a lawnmower. It mows the grass. Yes. Alright. Well, you sit there now, alright? Sit there. Push the limits on everything. Alright, sorry about that. Some of you may identify as a, I don't know, she looks like a Chihuahua, but she's not. Alright, maybe you're like that little innocent Cancer that has a lot of barking. Very proactive, maybe, I don't know. Again, we have Emperor and Eight of Wands energy showing up here. I don't know, maybe a good, someone with a good, strong moral structure could help you move forwards here. We haven't even started this reading, but it's showing like King of Swords, the Emperor, someone laying the law down type thing. I don't know why that's significant for some Cancers. Some of you have a lot of structure, so just throw it away if it doesn't make sense to you. Let's just get right to it. Alright, during emotional fulfillment, relationships. This is what the AI basically calculated. This is a Cancer that probably needs to know when to shut up. This dog is a Cancer. Go figure. How can Cancers find... Wow, and go figure, the AI can, basically, somehow, in Gemini's reading it didn't do this, but in Cancer's reading, when it did the reading for you, it calculated that emotional fulfillment and relationship connections is important here. Seems to know a thing or two. How can Cancers find or enhance joy and harmony in their personal relationships? It's talking about stability here, something this dog knows very little about. Alright, it'll just pretty much jump on anything. It has no bounds. It opens its mouth clearly, even when someone's kind of saying, hey, you need to calm your shit down. It just keeps abusing it. So this can talk about for some Cancers that, I don't know, I know that's kind of like, I'm not a crowd favorite when it comes to Cancer readings. I get it. Don't have the best history with Cancers. But it's suggesting Knight of Pentacles. There's some type of more slower, grounded approach. Pentacle energy is always going to include that. Alright? Am I saying that you are an anarchist going crazy? No. Okay. Not saying that. What else could it suggest? With the first question here. Lovers. So we've got Gemini energy here. So in summary, it's basically just saying how you approach significant connections. The lover doesn't always have to be a long-term romantic partner. It can be close connections to you, all right, or something that's very significant to you. Even though this card clearly shows that it probably suggests it's like, I don't know, a lover, but it can talk about that. So why it's saying that, I don't know 100%. Let's move on. All right, but it is suggesting there maybe some structure is needed. Also, to kind of get more fulfilling connections, got Pisces energies here. So let's take that. Right. What steps can they take to foster emotional fulfillment in their lives? All right, in context to relationships, right? So that means your friends, your family, or just, I don't know, a lover if you want to. Saying here, take that reversed or upright. I'm gonna take it upright. Got 10 of Wands here. Why would it suggest that? Kind of interesting to see that. Why would it suggest that for our Cancers and Moon energy? It does suggest here for some Cancers do introduce a lot of fear, doubt, or kind of, well, let's clarify the Moon before I say that, because I was going to talk about it from a general standpoint, but there's always ways to go deeper into tarot, but it just takes time. Clarify the Moon. Queen of Pentacles reversed, Page of Swords reversed. Why is that occurring? Knight of Swords, communication about a relationship. Actually, why would that occur? Why would that be communicated? Why would that be communicated? It's really bizarre. Something just hit me. I'm like, wait, that's bizarre. Why is the Queen of Pentacles reversed then? Because there's been no victory. Working here. King of Wands reversed. Doesn't want to work with you anymore. Why is the Moon occurring? What role is Cancer playing in this, whoever this applies to? Same Magician. What? Oh man, I always struggle with your readings, Cancer. I really do. I just don't feel like I ever get good readings for you. But this is kind of like, it's kind of like highlighting something here. Again, I'm going to try and not be negative here, but it's kind of suggesting here that there's what spiritual advice, since you know everything, how can I describe this in a way that doesn't sound bad or negative? One card. New ideas about the relationship. Okay, doesn't really help me, but great point though. So Cancer, this is a tough one here. I gotta be honest, because when we're talking about like emotional fulfillment, the issue here is that he's saying it's possible, and it seems like it's definitely, for some of you, maybe that is a thing. I don't know, but. And I don't know what context it's really and truly talking about, but it is highlighting twice now, Two of Cups, somebody that you had a deep connection with, it would suggest here. Alright, but you got King of Wands reversed here. That's kind of an issue because it kind of suggests the king that doesn't want to participate in this anymore. Six of Wands in reverse is what it's clarifying too, suggesting that it's been a flop. Right? And it's going to a card of working together. So this is a king that probably doesn't really have interest in really giving a shit, essentially. So you may perceive this person as just that, not giving you know what. Alright? But we have Queen of Pentacles reverse, Page of Swords in reverse, going to Knight of Swords, going to Two of Cups. Not good either, because this is kind of talking about, in some context, if we reference this to Cancer, it's kind of suggesting sometimes the way that things are being communicated is maybe coming from an well, there's nothing to suggest emotional, but given your signs Cancer, could suggest that there's an emotional taxation on the practical approach to talking with somebody that you obviously either have a bad connection with or things aren't going well. I don't know exactly, but the Queen of Pentacles in reverse can be someone that sometimes wants to, the way she's communicating, especially with the Page of Swords there in reverse, is kind of suggesting it can be from maybe being hurt or spiteful or just annoyed or not caring. Right, that's kind of what it's suggesting, and it's going to a card of direct communication, saying that it's like, and it's sudden, and it's going to connection card. But now you've got a king here. It's not really. I mean, and the King of Wands in reverse can also be someone that can be nasty back. So this could be like a toxic dynamic that could occur here. So where is this all going? Well, we've got a card that overall, in summary, is talking about burdens, insurmountable loads, or something that could be a real struggle. Doesn't mean to say it's a flop or a failure. I mean, you're getting to the finish line in some cases, but it's clarifying to the moon, which is like suggesting like this is and it's going to Magician reverse as well. So that's kind of a problem there, because it can kind of talk about unstable connections sometimes, or the way things are being done. It's more work than it's worth. Alright, it creates a lot of unknowns, uncertainty, the way that it's going. You got King of Pentacles up right there. Why is that present? That's the only one that's kind of standing out. Because you got to keep in mind, when I'm talking and saying all this, this is what it was saying before. So there's obviously some truth in it, what it's saying there. Why is the King of Pentacles there? Alright, so this could be someone that's holding back. So I kind of wonder if I mean, you got a king here as well, so holding back, not taking action. I mean, this could be somebody that is trying to basically just focus on their own life, go in a different direction, or something like that. But when it comes to you, like, and here's the thing, this is what's tricky about telling you this, is that some of you might perceive it like, well, what are you saying, that I'm a piece of shit or something like that? That's not what I'm saying. It's saying that whatever their goals and their values don't seem to be aligning with you, but it's becoming like a taxation where it's not actually achieving or growing into anything. That's why the moon energy is there and the Magician's reversed. And again, coming back to this, it's like kind of suggesting something around Pentacle energy being important. So it kind of tells me that there's not a whole lot of trust in the connection between you and this person. So it could be some significant of you that either you did date, had a relationship with, or a deep connection with. I mean, look at these horses, right? They're kind of doing whatever horses do there, but it's just kind of suggesting it's, I don't know, whatever this is down here, it could be a little bit of a problem, right? So I almost just want to take this as the advice in relation to the question, because it just seems really good with the Knight of Pentacles. Because it's, the reason is like it's starting fresh, but it's at the same time it's taking stable values and morals towards the person. But the issue is that I understand that some cancers are going to counter this and say that, well, what the problem is that it's not me, it's them. So this wasn't in the format, but I'll ask that because I just kind of get an intuitive sense that that's going to be something that's going to be question here. What about for Cancer? Well, it's saying right there that you need to come out of pain and conflict in relation to that, but let's get another question. What about for Cancers that are going to kind of point the blame onto the other person? This card came out. It's saying Seven of Pentacles. It's saying then you need to reevaluate and plan what you're actually getting out of this connection. In other words, it's just a classic from Spirit saying, why are you here then? If you know it's not working, then why bother with it? It's like you're trying to basically tell yourself like, well, I know I'm going to get burnt from it, but how can I word it in such a way where I don't get burnt? When Spirit's like, if it's hot, you're going to get burnt. But how do I word it, Spirit, in a way that I don't get burnt? Because it's technically their fault they're hot. Spirit's like, you're going to get burnt. I'm just like saying it's kind of like, I don't know. You got King of Cups here. So this can talk about, it does talk about in some contexts about emotional values of a person. Maybe that's important for whoever you're dealing with, that maybe they have emotional issues. And when it comes to you, even if you don't want to deal with, if you got a piece of, that you don't want to deal with and you just don't like their demeanor and how they're acting towards you, then it's a kind of then questioning you on, well, what does an emotionally fulfilling person look like to you? Because if it's not the person that you've been dealing with, then how do you come out of pain from it and move on to find somebody that does love you and care about you? Right? And Seven of Pentacles does look at your harvest. So it's saying, are you happy with what you got? And I've done tarot for a while, and there's a lot of people that are not happy with what they got. So it does kind of question this, and this kind of energy seems a little, suspect. But let's move on. I'm rambling here. It's one of the things I'm supposed to be working on. Not ramble. So we're going to go to, I removed this actually from the reading. The navigating relationships is the next one. All right. So some of the things I'm going to talk about are not like definitive where you're going to have absolute clarity. It could be things that are just to kind of get you to think if it applies to you. All right. So don't think this is like always definitive. All right. Spirit loves when people think for themselves. All right. And it's sometimes just challenging things that put a seed in your mind to think about it. And that's it. All right. It's not always supposed to be illumination of like everything in your life. Because if somebody else is just telling you and doing it for you, then what are you doing? Something to think about. What is this? Navigating relationships. Which I think is like, relationships for Cancer should be like, they're probably the best sign to do this. But if you get a hurt Cancer or an emotionally closed off Cancer, you're in trouble because very difficult to deal with. It's almost impossible. Gemini and Cancer, unfortunately, are the most, I'd say some of the most questioned signs. It was actually kind of funny because I actually like doing Gemini's readings, but the thing is that what's interesting about it is that even though they have probably the worst, I would say the worst readings of all the zodiacs, it was rated by people when I was watching these two different videos where this guy just went up to random people in the mall repetitively asking what sign is the worst, and Gemini just was like hands down categorically the worst sign. Apparently people just, I don't know what is with Gemini. Alright, for one reason or another. And nothing against Gemini, but that's what was rated. I didn't choose that. Alright, the second sign was Cancer. So yeah, you guys, you and Gemini work well with each other. Alright, let's move on here. I'm trying to keep it functional here. Navigating relationships for Cancer. Alright. How can Cancers deepen and improve their current relationships? Saying showing up in a more stable way. Alright, Queen of Pentacles is the embodiment of everything you want from a stable approach. But some of you are going to immediately say, well, what are you saying? That I'm not stable? So, what would you say about that, Spirit? Because it kind of sounds like that's what it's saying. Saying Six of Swords, again, moving on energy. Why does that relate to the Queen of Pentacles? Well, actually, I think I know. So if you're already doing this, so Queen of Pentacles, here's the thing. What her qualities are best known for is she is good for, you can count on her. She's dependable. And it's like if you were to call her, she'd be a great person to talk to you on the phone, give you advice. She has a stable job or stable income. She has goals, career ambitions, and things like that. She has the water energy, so she's got that heart as well. And she makes money. She takes care of herself. Essentially, even if the king wasn't around in the tarot, she'd be able to take care of herself, no problem. All right. Going to the Six of Swords does talk about moving on to calmer water. So it is suggesting that in this context, if you've had some type of like upheaval where it's kind of caused, I don't know, a wrap around you where it's just like there's always drama around you, or if something's not working out and it's always just like, oh God, she's calling, he or she's calling again, and it's like it's about this situation which has gone on for eternity. It's kind of like moving on and kind of like painting yourself in a better light. Some of you do have good jobs, and that's great, and others of you may not. I mean, it just depends. It's not so much about the money, but it's more talking about like just the overall stability of how you kind of present yourself, and also your demeanor and character when you're approaching people. All right. It does kind of, I think that actually is true, that it's a little bit tough because it's like sometimes you have to be yourself, but the question is like, how far does that go? Where do you draw the line with that? The Queen of Pentacles does have that kind of all worked out already, and she also carries the Seven of Wands energy, so she already has defense, boundaries, and morals. She's just a dependable person. I mean, if I had to choose, I'm like, if you wanted to basically have a very committed, long-term connection, you're always going to go with Pentacle energy. It's a little bit boring, but it's the most dependable of the lot. Next to air energy. That's it. Alright, so that's kind of what it's suggesting. And it's going to a card of moving on to new things, transitioning your life. Alright, so that's good. But where is that Six of Wands or Swords coming from? It's coming from Five of Swords. Where the battleground was lost, where there was some kind of upheaval, drama, problems, issues, and God knows what else. But now it's like, bitch, we're moving on to somewhere else. We need a kind of, I don't know, a new lease on life type. Alright, so how can Cancers deepen and improve their current relationships? It's really just showing up in a more, just kind of being mindful, I guess, of how you present yourself to other people. Especially if you're somebody that likes to be outspoken, or maybe you just, I don't know, you just don't think when you send messages saying someone's a what or whatever, because maybe you're hurt in the moment. But it's saying that just be aware that when you do something like that, it can have consequences, because it may affect your reputation and how you are as a person. Some people just don't value their reputation, period. It means nothing to them. And it's like, well, do what you want, but if you want, there's Cancer. Probably getting a little Cancer's like, I just don't like the way that you're talking. What? All right. Well, Cancer's off chasing something. Bye, Cancer. Just kidding. I'm playing, guys. I'm playing. Some people take it so seriously. All right. What should Cancers be mindful in their interactions with loved ones and close friends? Let's find out. And you guys kind of pointing to stable foundations. Four of Wands. How are you communicating that is also important. Why is that being stressed there? It kind of doesn't. Why that? It's saying your values, Hierophant energy. This can't talk about directly related to family stuff. It does also talk about your values, your morals. It can go into spirituality, how you practice, what you believe in. You can talk about just kind of someone having structure in their life. And then go figure have the damn Knight of Pentacles showing up again, which is kind of interesting. So it is talking about even if you don't have the best... It's like that dog is working on it. This is that dog doing it. Right there. Working on it. You can see it's kind of like toning the barking down. It's like, okay, maybe I need to kind of not get, I don't know. I kind of look at the dog, it's like, why is the dog always barking at anything that moves? It's like, it's kind of apprehensive that something could be intruding on in one's life, or it's maybe got trust issues, I don't know. because the other dog doesn't bark as much. So I'm like, we did get it as like an abandoned dog, but I kind of wonder if that's something that kind of affects it. So maybe that's kind of like a metaphorical term or way of like looking at it, where it's like a Cancer that kind of reacts to things very quickly, you know, without truly thinking about it, because it's more of a reactionary to something that happened in the past. I don't know, but it's kind of saying it's placing huge focus on stability right now. That's what it's saying here. All right, if you are a stable Cancer that's doing wonders in this world when it comes to relationships, then maybe this doesn't apply to you. All right, doesn't mean to say every one of you have to have this information, you know, shoved down your throat type thing. It's like it either makes sense to you or it doesn't, or whatever. So let's move on to the next thing. Dealing with challenges. Some Cancers have a lot of challenges, just in general life and just in their own life right now. So, I better change it on my banner thing. I'm a Cancer moon, so I mean, I'm going with a lot of challenges in my own life. But, you know, we get through it, right? Alright, dealing with challenges. Alright, dealing with challenges for Cancer. Page of Pentacles, starting something fresh. Alright, we got this kind of for Gemini's energy as well. Interesting. Have a lot of similarities for some of you with Geminis. And going to Hierophant again. There's so much, like, I can't even just, like, it's overwhelming almost. High Pentacle energy, and again, Hierophant energy showing up twice. Yeah. We've got transition energy, so this is like just kind of talking about, you know, the Page of Pentacles, I would say out of all the pages, is probably the better one, because of the fact that what he does is that he does start something where it's like, he doesn't know how to start a business, and it may not, you know, again, I think Cancers more pertain to relationships a lot more than business stuff. But, like, I kind of view the zodiac sign of Cancer as more someone that's a homebody that's going to basically have the best structure when it comes to just matters of the home, and it's kind of highlighting that here. But the page is like, it'll start something where it can be like, whatever I do is practical, all right? Because the Page of Pentacles is the only one that really typically will pay attention to their mentors, all right? They're always on time. They show up. They, you know, they listen to advice, all right? The Page of Swords will probably not do that. Page of Wands probably won't do that, and the Page of Cups just follows their own drum. They just do whatever they want, all right? Page of Pentacles, though, listens to wiser people, all right? So it's typically the first page that's going to make it to the King energy or the Queen energy. Alright, in this context it's saying to the Hierophant, so it is kind of saying that maybe some of you need to start something that's like, I don't know, like reevaluate how you approach certain things in your life and the way that you found the structure. You know, the structure is obviously, it doesn't matter how beautiful the building is. If the structure sucks, the foundation, it doesn't go anywhere. So whether this is related to relationships, or it's like a business plan, or it is a new career, what it's really saying there is like, make sure that whatever you start, first and foremost, aligns to what you want in life. And if you don't know what that is, then maybe you should start thinking about that. The second thing is that once you know what that is, then formulate a plan of action, whether it's a job or it's a relationship, on how you're going to get that. If that means that you don't get any romantic offers, then you're going to have to do some work, unfortunately. Whether that's going to the gym to make yourself look better, dress better, you know, and just keep in mind, a lot of people don't like that idea, but, you know, we're the only species that really actually goes against the grain. If you really think about it, every last species on this damn planet pretty much is flaunting their feathers or doing something to try and impress the other person. It's a survival thing. It's basically like you either do it or you get nothing. And nature seems to know that quite well, but when it comes to humans, we just have our own ways where we don't need to do it. We just get it when we get it, or, you know, but the question really becomes like, what happens if you don't get it? And I said this in the Gemini reading, it was kind of like a similar thing. What happens if you don't get it? So sometimes you got to take action here, but whatever action you take, make sure that it's following something that it's going to start in a good direction there. All right. So dealing with challenges, don't just go and start shit just to start it. It's like, make sure that it actually matters to you and your life before you put the work and time into it, because you'll be disappointed down the road when you realize that, man, I didn't think about that and I actually don't like this shit whatsoever, but I put like 2,000 hours into it. All right. When I started this tarot channel, I knew that I wanted to do tarot. So I'm here, still doing it. All right. So just something to think about. All right. So I think that, yeah, establishing solid roots into certain things that really have meaning to you is something that could be a challenge for some of you. How can I best navigate these challenges? That's a good question. How can they best navigate these challenges? Huh. Queen of Cups. Very interesting. Your own energy. I guess Cancer's very happy about that. Look at Cancer going off, just saying, "That's me. That's me." Man, I picked the wrong day to do this reading. Alright, the Queen of Cups, so from just a general sense, it is a queen that's basically emotionally, the water energy is creativity, and I'm just talking about sometimes ideas and things that just come to you, because there's only one of you, alright? There's not multiple of you, alright? So that means that the way that you think and the way that you do things may be unique just to you, alright? Doesn't mean to say that you're an alien out of this world. Well, for some of you are watching this and probably getting ready to, I don't know. I'm convinced there's some type of UFOs out there, but quite well hidden, I'd say. I have my theories, but I have these stories, but I'm not going to ramble. But I wanted to... Don't do it. No. Alright, I'm going to stick to the reading. Sorry. Don't go on this tangent about that, because there was something I was thinking about, but we'll save that for another day. The Queen of Cups is, again, creativity. She's emotional. It's water and water. So it does kind of suggest, though, that this is the kind of person that is open to a lot of different things, no matter how crazy it is. So sometimes, even if it is an idea that may not be very popular by the public, does it make sense to you, and do you like it because it's emotionally fulfilling to you? And there's been some pretty ridiculous stuff out there, let me tell you, that have made some people a lot of money. There was a video you can find on YouTube, and the guy basically made, this is a great classic sign of water energy at play, where he decided to make animals that were in the form of plastic bracelets or something like that. And it was like this cheap, it looked like the cheapest, plastic. It's like you get it in one of those Christmas cracker things at Christmas time that it's got those cheap toys inside. It just looked like that, like something absolutely cheap, and you just put it around your wrist. My brain never would have thought of this because I was just like, it's so simple and practical, and I can't remember the full background story about it, but he did it, and he's a millionaire. Yes, he's a millionaire because of that. So that is somebody that is using their creativity, that took a chance, that opened their heart, and they said, this is going to work. Well, it turns out, yes, it did, because he was getting his interview done, and he was in a Porsche or something like that. I don't know, or some expensive luxury car. So it just kind of shows you that you never know. So it is kind of challenging at Cancer, maybe just to also be emotionally open to and be in touch with their senses as well. The Empress energy, it's kind of suggesting growth and prosperity, but it's also matching back to stable foundations, stable roots, and it's also going to family stuff. It's saying some people might be lost or confused about that or where that's going in their life. All right, and it's kind of saying, well, sometimes you just, again, have to have a degree of kind of knowing first what the hell it is that you're trying to search for. All right, and I think that's probably the biggest challenge and problem a Cancer could face, because I think some of them are very, that crab kind of mentality where it's like, when things don't work out or they've been hurt or something like that, just shut off and close off. But it's kind of saying well, that's not really a viable solution, because when you're in that, when water energy goes cold, it goes sour really quick, and it's volatile, it has a lot of problems, where there's depression can be a thing, getting aggravated outbursts, kind of just being reckless sometimes with how you interact with certain people, not making the best decisions, going back into toxic connections, this kind of stuff. All right, which kind of it stifles those, just tramples all over it. So you're just going to be in that essentially. So that's the best I can say with dealing with challenges. How to best navigate these challenges is kind of evaluate what your emotional needs are, what matters to you. Because especially if you're heavy into Cancer energy, that's going to be important to you, and also your own values and what makes sense as far as a connection. Because if you come out of a toxic one, what does the next one look like? Because you can't keep going back to someone that's basically going to just shut you off emotionally. It doesn't help you, right? And it then doesn't help you as far as aspiring to achieve much, because you're emotionally shut off, right? So, you kind of get the idea in that. Right. Now we're going to go to patience and perspective. Hopefully I'm making sense to someone here. Patience and perspective. Alright. Sorry, let's get these cards back here. A lot of Pentacle energy in your reading, so quite interesting. Patience and perspective for Cancer. In what areas of life do Cancers need to practice patience? This can probably indicate to us where Cancers are sometimes getting volatile. A crossroads energy here. Alright, it could suggest in some cases like there's a Cancer that's getting frustrated and just wants to jump into things or do things because they just want something to start. That's what I'm getting. It's saying like consider your choices, and some of you have, right? But I almost get a sense here. What it's really saying here is like just getting frustrated with being at a crossroads, right? But again, it's coming back to what we previously talked about, and now we have the Queen back here again. So it's kind of suggesting that's on one of the wands here, and what's the other? Oh, drop down here. Knight of Cups, love offers. Interesting. Why the Knight of Cups? What about the Queen of Pentacles? What else? Got Scorpio energy there. Page of Pentacles and Four of Cups, your Cancer energy. What is the contrast between the both of these? Because they both kind of have their cons and pros, which is interesting. This is like a very tough one here. What is the I don't know, the variation, I suppose, or the middle point here? Indecision for Cancers. Independence. We'll take that as upright. Walking away. And what else? Pain. What's the positive of the right side? Saying no conflict for that. What about the left side? Ace of Swords. Clarity. Wow, I can see why this would be a split decision here. One's almost like kind of suggestive here, Cancer, like what it's kind of saying. I can see why this would fit in patience and perspective, because like it's kind of a dilemma with this, because it's saying that this almost seems like somebody you know, even though the King of Pentacles here in the context with Five of Swords reversed energy, and funny enough you have it on the other side as well. Five of Pentacles, Two of Pentacles, and Ace of Swords. it's kind of like talking like about, it would seem like some type of, I'm just getting like some type of foundation that you've already had where you've been on the outs with somebody and coming out of conflict, and there's stability there with new ways of thinking, a new way to approach. So that what it's really saying there is that there's obviously been some type of conflict or problems, a loss for everybody. But and it's also suggesting almost a degree of maybe financial problems, or also just being on the outs with somebody. But it's saying there's a positive coefficient where that could work, alright? With the Knight of Cups there, whether that's an apology, like kind of sending that apology, taking action, whether, and you're a water sign, so you could apply to being doing that, or it's the other person, I don't know. Somebody that you're familiar with coming back. So it's like kind of a question of, do I take that back? Or work at that again? And it's kind of saying, well, you know, this could work, but it really depends on how it's approached. On the other hand, it's saying the Queen of Pentacles energy, where it's like you're focusing again on what we talked about with that Queen of Pentacles, right? And you're looking for somebody that kind of would be emotionally fulfilling to you, that probably aligns with things that you can start fresh with, something that you've been sitting under the tree waiting for a long time. In other words, you're manifesting and looking for what you've been seeking for a long time. So one, on the other hand, is easier than the other. Because one, this seems like it's already there. The other kind of seems like you would have to initiate it and start it. It'd be a fresh start. Alright, but it's also saying to be like no conflict really with that. So both of them is saying it would be like an end of conflict. But one seems no and one seems not. When I look at like the middle factor, it's kind of saying walking away, Three of Swords, dealing with your pain and being independent. What's the advice on this? So I couldn't actually draw a favorable conclusion. Either one seems like it could go somewhere. Look at Emperor here. Take that. What else? The Sun. Huh. This really does, I mean, plain and simple, Cancer, it's really just talking about, and you can apply this to an Empress if you're a male watching this. It's basically talking about that the Emperor is somebody that, again, it's going to carry, when you've got a queen like this looking for stable foundations and wants somebody that's not going to be a player, deceiver, and all this kind of stuff. The fact of the matter is that what I have found in my life, since I've had a lot of ups and downs, is that it fucking depends 100% on who you're around and who you surround yourself and who you're interacting with and where you are mingling and who you're getting influenced by. Alright, because I've gone through all kinds of different social groups, and I found that, especially in my hospital days, like the quality of people that you encounter as far as their stability just massively is so different from when you deal with other certain people that have you know, again, more of a party lifestyle and stuff like that. The morals and the values just either are there or they're not. Alright, but there's cons and pros. You get with somebody that's more stable, has their shit together and all that kind of stuff, they may be more boring. They may not be as crazy and chaotic. Some Cancers may find that fire energy is really exciting to them, where they like to have that turbulence from time to time, or that excitement to do stuff, but then it kind of brings the problem where you may have the potential of, it could be someone that's more of a liar, or, you know, leave you high and dry type thing. So it's like trying to find that perfect balance. The Emperor is somebody that has strong values, morals, but most importantly would lead the family, right? And if it's, again, if you want to look at it from a male perspective, you can treat it as an Empress. It's a woman that basically is going to be by your side, is not going to cheat on you and, you know, screw you over. Alright, so either or. But this is strong masculine energy. So it does kind of like talk about like what, again, it keeps asking this question over and over, like what does that look like for you? Alright, if you were to have a connection that would be fulfilling for you, you could be at home and do that kind of stuff, or maybe just kind of do more traditional stuff and have more of that family structure, given you're a water sign, and have more emotional fulfillment. How does it look from the past to the now? What would it take to basically make you feel at home? Alright? And where do you find that in your life? Because clearly if you are somebody that complains all the time that that's something you never get in your life, then ask yourself, why are you there? Why is it that other people get it and you don't? Could it be that there's something you're doing? Something to think about. Alright? Both maintains on either side here, irregardless, that new ways of thinking or starting something brand new could have positive results. Alright? But I'm still not 100% decisive here, King of Pentacles here, because it kind of suggests the Five of Swords reversed here could have, I mean, I don't know, this could have, for some Cancers, it may be indicating somebody that was very functional or had the ability to do that, or is that now, I don't know, that you're had some type of conflict with. But at the same time, it's saying Five of Swords reversed here on this side. It's not entirely clear with that, because it seems like it's more of a new, something new here with that. But I'm not going to explore that. I just don't have the time. Because I was going to figure out, like, why is that there, showing there as well. Maybe it's talking about the contrast between stability and love. I don't know. With somebody you already know. Alright, it's like, are they good just for the money, or are they, do you really love them? Type thing. That's where I was going to go, but that's another day. Alright. We're going to go to intuition and new experiences, and we're going to close this reading out. It's been almost 1 hour. Thank you for joining in if you're watching. And again, these are just kind of unique readings we're doing just at the beginning of the year. To start it off right. Hopefully you're getting something out of these readings. Alright, so we're going to intuition and new experiences. Some people may find this boring, but that's fine. It's going to be for only certain people. Intuition and new experiences. What intuitive messages or feelings should Cancers pay attention to? Seven of Wands in reverse. Basically being walked all over. Not having values or morals or moral boundaries about what is right for you. Give me another card. I'll talk about it a bit more here in a second. Justice reversed. I'm going to take this right here. You got Justice reversed and you have Seven of Wands reversed. These are both powerful cards here, Cancer, because really what it's talking about is Cancers that get themselves involved in situations that are sometimes just chaos. It doesn't make sense, or it's just turbulence, or fighting, or it's drama, or it's things. Justice reversed can also be unfair situations where you're working or doing a whole bunch of stuff and you're not getting a whole lot in return. Alright, the Seven of Wands is standing up for yourself, and it's having moral boundaries. In other words, that when you wake up in the morning, you know what you will and will not tolerate, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts. Some people like to use that word language where they have boundaries, but when it comes to certain people, they'll bend the law, which is really not having boundaries at all. And Cancer is the most susceptible to this because of the fact that they have the emotional attachment to things. It does kind of question and call you here just to be careful about that, because your intuition may tell you very... especially if you're Cancer, you have a great intuition. Oftentimes the spirit especially. And you'll know when something is just no longer serving you anymore. So it's going to ask you, when you get that nudging response that's kind of saying, hey, this just seems like being up in my head excessively with a million swords and a million ideas and always stressing. It's probably turning me off emotionally, and I need to kind of change that. Or causing insurmountable obstacles where I just feel stuck repetitively. Alright? This could be from being hurt over a situation you keep walking back to repetitively. Eight of Cups in reverse. Going to a situation that's no longer emotionally fulfilling you anymore. You got Ten of Swords. End of a painful cycle. Interesting. Alright? Why would this show up for Cancers? Fate and Five Swords. There it is. So that's probably why I was suggesting the reversal of the Five of Swords earlier. Interesting. saying there's been a lot of just conflict. Five of Swords can also talk about mind games, especially when you get Cancer that sometimes is a little hurt or frustrated with somebody or something, or just multiple things, can just kind of get in that energy where they'll entertain that because the water energy is reversed. In other words, it doesn't mean to say again that you're trying to be a bad person, but it's just like you get lost in it or caught up in it. You know, where you're kind of, it's like a revenge component. Alright, tell me about, there's also saying judgment here. Talking about judgment is super important because it really does talk about, in terms of new experiences, it's taking whatever you've learned here and applying it to your life and saying, well, what the hell is going to be different this time? Because hopefully you're declaring something that's different. Right? If you're declaring the same thing and doing the same thing, then you haven't really declared anything new. You're just doing the same thing you did last time. So it is kind of saying that that's important here. Probably moving on from conflict or staying out of it. Devil in reverse is also releasing toxic habits or cycles that you keep doing. Whether that is physical substances, weed, too much weed, or excessive eating, or it's in toxic controlling situations with people that don't value, don't give a shit about you, physically hurt you, or do things that basically just destroy your life. It's like kind of saying, what are you learning from that? And what are you declaring that's going to be different? Alright, and how are you going to exit this conflict? Alright, where it's a loss for everybody. It's not yielding anything. Alright. What is the last piece of advice for new emotional experiences for Cancer? Alright, what do we got? Well, Queen of Pentacles shows up again. Okay. It's really talking about your... I mean, look at that treasure chest of money with that cat sitting on it right there. It's really kind of talking about your future, about what that looks like for you. Some people get stuck in the now, where it's just, I'm dealing with so-and-so, and that's how it is, blah, blah, blah. That's not how it is. That's what you're saying it is. It's not what anybody else thinks. So just be aware of that. That's your reality of what it is. So maybe you need to look at some, other ways of looking at things. What solid, and Gemini got this too, like something that is a stable foundation of what a functional family looks like. You know, if you're dealing with some, and I don't want to obviously, step on anyone's emotions here, but it's like really to kind of look at, like, when anybody just wants the magic, white picket fence dream. Well, not everybody. These days, it's kind of like all over the place and what people want, but most people deep down inside would like to have something that's just structurally functional from time to time in their life, even if they have a little bit of crazy quirks from here and there. But you got to find that person, and you also got to find the right kinds of morals and values. And the problem most times why people land up in connections that don't work, and what I've learned with time, especially in my past, is because you don't know what the hell you even want in the first place. You're going off people that have changed so much that you don't even recognize who the hell they are anymore. And it's like, but then you're trying to make this picture work. And it's like, maybe that worked 10 years ago or whatever, that idea was there, but are they like that now? Or have they changed radically? Do you argue and fight or whatever? That's not for every Cancer, but it's for some of you. And even if you're some Cancer that's out of conflict and you don't have that kind of level of drama or single, it still kind of is maintaining it like kind of a manifestation where it's like asking you, like, well, what exactly, again, when you're asking Spirit for things and you're wanting things, be clear, decisive, and know what you want. All right, what does that look like for you? Write it down. If you don't know, then how does Spirit know what you want? I guess Spirit maybe would, but it's kind of one of those things I think is hugely important. You be the judge of that, though, Cancer. It's your life. It's just a charity. Anyways, guys, that's what I got for you. All right, hopefully that helps for someone out there that needs just, some perspective on things. All right, but that's what I'm getting. I'm going to go and find that Kyoto Taco Bell dog because I kind of want Taco Bell. I might take that dog to get Taco Bell. She loves the potato burrito, not burritos, the tacos. They're delicious. I love them too. But our other dog is kind of on a weight loss, real weight. So I'm gonna try and limit the food intake with that. But the other one needs a bit of weight, so I'm like, quiero Taco Bell. All right, guys. Hope you got something out of this. Have a good day. I have to go to work now, so I'm gonna do my work. Good to see you, Empowered Pathways Tarot. Love seeing you, Andrea Lynn. The dog has more sense than my Cancer ex. For a Saggy Bree, good to see you. All right, good to see you. Blah. All right, guys. You guys are great. All right.